सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। यैरिमे गुरुभिः पूर्वं पदवाक्यप्रमाणतः व्याख्याताः सर्ववेदान्ताः तान् नित्यं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम्। वागीशाद्याः सुमनसः सर्वार्थानामुपक्रमे यं नत्वा कृतकृत्याः स्युः तं नमामि गजाननम्। ओम श्री महागणपते नमः। ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। We have been trying to understand how the Advaita Vedanta, highlighted by Sri Ādi Shankara, looks at Upanishads. Not only Upanishads, the Prasthanatraya, that is Upanishads, Gita and Brahma Sutras. I said highlighted by Ādi Shankara, for as most of you surely know, none of the three systems, Advaita, Vishishtadvaita and Dvaita, was started by the three great Acharyas. All these three existed before. But these three, at three different periods of time, highlighted. Each of them said, this is the right interpretation. And they dismissed the other two, or many other also. So we are trying to get a proper grasp of the Advaita view. And towards the end of yesterday's class, we made a statement that this matter of ignorance, for which the Sanskrit word is avidya, is quite intricate, and understanding avidya properly is very crucial to understanding Advaita Vedanta. Avidya is erroneous perception. In the context or in the scenario where there is erroneous perception, asamyak darshana, then the plurality appears. The word used carefully here is, it appears. It doesn't get created. In other schools of thought, creation is real. The example given for creation, this entire Srishti, to actually come about is milk turning into curd. Milk becomes yogurt, and nobody would say, it's milk only, looks like yogurt. It is yogurt, and it is, in the case of analogy at least, irreversible. Milk has changed into yogurt. Physically changed, chemically changed. Those are, of course, particulars of the analogy. The main point is the truth has changed to become creation. Here, as we carefully use the word, appears. In erroneous perception, what is the Supreme Brahman appears to be this creation. Brahman pervades every bit, every nook and corner of this universe. And it is not Shankara who says, or the other acharyas, this much is said by, rather, this creation coming from God is said by Upanishads themselves. Then the nature of creation, whether it's a real change or an apparent change, is a matter where there are different views. So the primary statement that God creates this entire universe is said at various places in the different Upanishads. To quote one well-known example is the famous Brahmananda Valli, the second chapter of Taittiriya Upanishad of Krishna Yajurveda, where there is a very poetic description. Sometimes you may wish rishis were not so poetic, making it a bit difficult. Why didn't they express it in scientific language? Sometimes this indulgence in very picturesque language creates trouble, you may say. I once heard, how far it is true I do not know, that Semitic religions, in as much as they came in desert areas, Judaism, Christianity and Islam, they don't have such vibrant and picturesque visualizations, descriptions. Their philosophy is pretty simple. And the reason given by somebody who said that to me is, in a desert you look in any direction, you don't see much. Not much of greenery, not much of flora and fauna, not much of grandeur of nature. On the Indian soil, in contrast, everywhere there was so much of greenery. All kinds of creation, all kinds of animal species, plant species were made possible. And therefore, not only in literature of Kalidasa, Bhasa, Bharavi and others, but also in spirituality, the rishis expressed whatever they had to say in many picturesque ways, and they supported it with lot of illustrations and so on. The Taittiriya Shruti I was going to quote is as simple as Tat srishtva tadeva anupravishat. There is a line in the Brahmananda Valli. I do not know about other commentaries, but Ādi Shankara's commentary goes to a good length over that. Tat srishtva tadeva anupravishat. What it means is, Brahman, the supreme truth, the one without a second, having created this universe, entered into it. Tat srishtva. Tad vishvam srishtva. Srishtim kritva. Tadeva. Into that very creation, anu, following creation, pravishat. Pra plus avishat. Entered. Pravesham akarot. And Ādi Shankara takes up such issues like, does this mean that Brahman created the universe and after a slight time gap said, not a bad idea to enter it? Is there a time gap possible? And then he says, that is not so. It cannot be. For the created cannot remain even for a split second or whatever nanosecond, picosecond apart from Brahman. For even a moment, a pot cannot exist without clay. For just even a moment, the gold ornament can stay. It cannot stay without gold. So, on one hand, the primary statement that God creates this universe, then enters into it, has been said in the Veda, Upanishad being part of Veda. But the Advaita stand here is, it is an appearance. The example we gave of milk becoming curd is parinama. The Sanskrit word for something changing into something else is parinama. Therefore, that argument, that philosophical view is called parinama vada. In Shankara's Advaita Vedanta, we do not go by parinama vada. We say it is an appearance. That is why the word used, the Sanskrit word, is vivartavada. Vivarta means viparitam vartate. Different, it seems to be different. It is just the same thing, same good old thing, but it looks different. Though the Upanishads and Vedas have never said or used the example of rope and snake, Ādi Shankara uses the expression rope and snake everywhere. Incidentally, one of the hundreds of objections to Ādi Shankara is this also. You talk so much about rope and snake, show us one rope or one snake in any of the original Vedanta works, Upanishads, Gita, etc. But that is not a very important point. Shankara says, I created that example to illustrate what is said. I can show you mantras which have that meaning, but this example is my creation. He could say that. During his time, nobody objected. As you know, Sri Ramanuja, then Sri Madhvacharya, Sri Ananda Tirtha, as he is officially called, they came not just 10, 20 or 30 years later. It is believed, though we have a very poor sense of history in our tradition, but by and large it is believed Shankara came in the 8th century, Sri Ramanuja came in 10th century, and Madhva came in 12th century. So 8, 10 and 12, 200 years apart. Therefore, once more it becomes extremely difficult to decide who is right. Because if all three of them were at one time and some TV anchors could get them together and interview them together, things could have been sorted out more easily. But these came at different times, and though in each Digvijaya, in each story of how they went around and defeated scholars of this time, it is shown that they defeated the other system. It is also possible that the representatives of the system which was defeated were weak, were poor, were ill-equipped, did not know their own tradition well. Even today, if you go to any tradition, any ashram, you will have the scholars there, sadhus there, Swāmis there, on lot of levels of knowledge. In fact, when I joined the ashram in Mumbai in 1984, you will laugh at this, I have joined with lot of trepidation. Because in my ignorance, before I joined the ashram, whenever I met somebody in yellow clothes, orange clothes, with a japamala or with some chandan or tilak, etc., I imagined that they were all enlightened. Then when I joined the ashram also, I was very nervous. that maybe these are all, the other students must be mighty. Later on I realized that the world is full of diversity. Anywhere and everywhere you go, some know it, some don't know anything. Typically, if you drop in at some ashram and see a bunch of people chanting the Vedas, first you will get frightened. You will say, oh my God, I don't know any of these. And as I said, they will be wearing those colorful clothes. Not only in Hinduism, in churches, in other religions too, their dress and their marks and some staff they will hold. And the way they walk, they get up, everything can frighten you. Because you are not familiar with that system. So spend some days there, talk to different people. You will find that just 2 or 3 would have a good grip on what they are studying. And maybe 30% have at least knowledge of fundamentals. A good number of them, you wonder why they are there. But that is nothing wrong about it. Sometimes, in fact, having said it, I would humbly submit. Sometimes some members of an ashram who don't know the philosophy well are more devoted to God, to Guru, and so on. Their intellectual abilities may be less. And some of us who may have better intellectual abilities sometimes have other problems, some other impurities in our mind. So, loko bhinna ruchi. All right. So, the point came up because this matter of defeating has its own questionable dimensions. The scholars that were defeated possibly were not very clear. And then, of course, they accept. So, no wonder even today humanity is divided. Lots of people adore Dvaita. Go to Hare Krishna temple, especially ISKCON, which is a variation. It's not the pure Madhva Siddhanta, but it is primarily Madhva Siddhanta, modified by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and then later on, I believe, even this A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Prabhu Goswami, who founded it, his tradition somewhere in Bengal, somewhere in, Vrindavan, they have added their own dimensions. And large numbers of people are deeply drawn to that outlook. In this country, some Ford, not Henry Ford, I think a son of Henry Ford perhaps, a member of the illustrious Ford family of Detroit, I guess, embraced Hare Krishna outlook, and I guess even today he is alive and, though old, perhaps doing something. So is the case with the other schools also. Vishishtadvaita even today attracts, inspires, and really fills lots of people with great joy. Lot of even Westerners do research. They go to India or sitting here only and they are happy. So, this outlook that the creation is not real but an appearance. Someone may say, that's what I don't like. What is this appearance? In fact, in certain schools, Shankara's Vivartavada, that is the argument that this entire universe, including us, the way it appears is not what actually it is. If you inquire, if you listen to the revelation of the Upanishads, Upanishads are essentially revelations. They reveal a truth. Tattvamasi is a revelation. The Mahavakyas are revelations. So, if you listen to these revelations, this very creation, once more including us, what you see and you the seer, this entire gamut will show itself in a different way. Is Shankara's position. I'm going to open it more and more in this lecture. Many have said, being uncomfortable with it, oh, this is Mayavada. In fact, in ISKCON, we are referred to, Advaitis are referred to as Mayavadis. Keep a distance from these Mayavadis with a little derogatory, tone, the tone of looking down, despising. Why despise? Why look down? Such a wonderful creation. More you examine this creation, more excited, more astonished you become. Even in a little atom, there is such order, such beauty. In the galaxies, as they sometimes say, in the microcosm and in the macrocosm. Wherever you look, there is such grandeur. And how can these Advaitins call it a mere appearance? Maya. Such injustice. This is the beautiful creation of God. Therefore, Maya has been looked at, labeled as a rather negative affair. In the Advaita tradition itself, Sampradaya Vidam, as we said yesterday, if you go by the knowers of the tradition, Maya is not in a negative sense. And Advaita also very much admires the grandeur of this whole creation as the other systems do. And we would rather say, this wonderful, grand creation, hats off to it, is not the ultimate truth. We do not dispute the grandeur. And we do not dispute the greatness of God also. Therefore, Advaita has no contradiction or no problem with upasana, with worship, with any number of hymns that praise Vishnu or Shiva, Ganesha or Devi. The worship, the adoration of the God principle goes very well with the Advaita outlook. Then why call it Maya? We say, you can go further. Just as in modern physics too, there could be, like let's say I mentioned already, an atom, a model of the atom, and certain laws about the inner structure, the way it moves, the way the particles behave, and number of phenomena that are available in the atomic context are grand. But what does the physicist say? All this is so amazing. Our hairs stand on their ends as we notice the order, the structural beauty of these atomic and subatomic structures. But that is not the ultimate truth. And have they not dug deeper? The scientists have gone deeper and then they have questioned the very particle nature of those electrons, etc. Then they came upon an understanding that they are all some energies. Then they talk of some probability functions, dizzy things. I won't say more because that is when I left it and came to Vedanta. This is getting too far and so on. Imagining that here it's going to be simple. Here also I find more you dig, more you discover. So wherever you go, there you are, as they say. Anyway, so no doubt about the grandeur, but is it the ultimate? The way you see the universe, the way you see yourself, may have its tremendous beauty, and there is tremendous sorrow also. Lord Sri Krishna, not any of the acharyas, the one Lord whom all the three follow, himself, blame it on God himself, has said in Gita, Dukkhalayam Ashashvatam. Much before the Buddha said everything is momentary, everything is perishable, everything is the womb of sorrow, in the Gita, Sri Krishna has said, this universe is dukkhalayam ashashvatam. It is impermanent, ashashvata, and dukkhalaya. There is sorrow everywhere. So, this has, as who was that in Tale of Two Cities, I think? Charles Dickens? Yeah. I believe that has that statement. Those were the best of times, and those were the worst of times. To share with you something on my side, years ago somebody in Bakersfield gave me a manuscript. He wrote a little book on spirituality. And the first chapter has this statement. It has been rightly said, those were the best of times and those were the worst of times. I don't know English literature so much. I took a red pen and said there is something wrong with this statement. Then Mr. Mehta later said, no Swāmiji, it's a famous statement. See, those days we didn't have Swami Google Ananda to help us. Today you send me a manuscript and I find something jerky, jittery, and how can this be? Laptop, or you don't even need laptop, right on your mobile you quickly check. You put even just 3 words, those were the best, it says. It gives the whole statement. Then it says, yeah, Charles Dickens said it in The Tale of Two Cities. Then I would not take that red pen and, mark it. So I learnt it from Dr. Mehta, that yes. So this world is like that. This universe, it has the best of the times, it has the worst of the times, it has unbelievable grandeur and beauty and charm, and it has so much of pain, so much of suffering too. Your own adopted country represents the creation. This is the place, United States, where there are the best of times too. And Las Vegas shooting hasn't happened for the first time. Such things keep happening. Every morning, good morning America, and you find things to celebrate and then 1 or 2 things where you say, things are getting worse. But that is life. So the serious point is, this is an appearance, tat srishtva tadeva anupravishat. Shankara interprets it as, this entire creation has Brahman pervading it everywhere in terms of space, in the 3 directions, X, Y and Z, in terms of time, past, present and future. There is not a single moment in the 3 periods of time, and there is not a single square inch of or cube inch of space anywhere where God is not. But the question is, did God really become this universe, or a part of it he made into the universe and with folded hands took a look at it and said, okay, what shall I do with it now? The Advaita position is, no, he did not become all this. Like a snake appears upon the rope, and not even a bit of the rope has become the snake, but there is the appearance of the snake, that is called vivarta, appearance. And there also we use the word superimposition. That is, the universe gets superimposed. And when the superimposition is the state of affairs, then you being part of that superimposition, you are the witness to the best of the times and to the worst of the times. Again and again, please bear in mind that the illusion includes you, the knower. When we say you, the knower, we must hasten to add, there is the pure knowing principle in you, that is same as Brahman. But when we say You, the knower, are a part of the illusion. We are not referring to that chit tattva, that pure knowing principle. Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam. Jnanam is the chit tattva. The popular expression is Sat Chit Ananda. Satchidananda, or as the Upanishad uses the expression, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Jnanam and Chit are one and the same. You are Jnanam, and that Jnanam has no boundaries, no divisions, no variation, no attributes, no descriptions, except that it is the principle making possible all knowledge. As that principle making possible all knowledge, you are not part of the illusion. You are the substrate. You are the adhisthana. You are the basis of the illusion. Like on a cinema screen, in the cinema, you see a brother and sister watching television. Now the brother and sister in the cinema, in the movie, watching television, those two are part of the movie. When the projector is shut down, everything disappears. But the screen on which these sister and brother are watching a screen again, the screen inside the screen. So that screen is, in the example, not an illusion. Even when the movie comes to an end, the screen continues to be. So every one of us are that jnanam, that pure consciousness, but then we are talking about the knower on a one notch below situation. The knower, that you and me, who knows particular things. I know Kannada, somebody knows Telugu, somebody knows Punjabi. So the knower of Punjabi, and he can or she can talk in Punjabi, and the knower of Telugu who writes or speaks in Telugu, this knower, you will easily appreciate, is a limited being. The limited being, the knower of Telugu or knower of Punjabi, or in terms of other activities, one who can do scuba diving and somebody else who can dance Bharatanatyam, these skills, these capacities belong to particular knowers. So the individual knower, and every one of us sees ourselves as an individual knower. At this moment, I see myself a speaker, and I am speaking, and I am constantly trying to speak as sensibly as possible. So there is a speaker in me, there is a listener in you. So let's understand the knower in that fashion. This knower who is different from the known, the speaker who is not the listener, the gymnast who is not a member of the audience, spectators, right? So that is called the separate self. That separate self is part of the illusion. I think that should suffice at this moment about creation and how it is looked at. There is an illusion which is appearing upon the truth. Now we come back to this matter of avidya. Yesterday we talked about avidya. How did all this happen? We say thanks to avidya, due to avidya, due to ignorance. Now ordinarily, inasmuch as we are so much conditioned to think in terms of space, time and causation. Space, time and causation are so much into our thinking, we cannot think otherwise. Abraham Maslow was known for a statement, man who is good at use of hammer thinks of every problem as a nail. A man who is good with hammer thinks of every problem as a nail. That is in a very limited context, though it has the same implications. So you and I, moment we say, due to ignorance, the one without a second, the undivided, all-pervasive Brahman became this manifest universe. We go for our old hang-up, causation. Why did it happen? How did it happen? I am not condemning it. I am as much a part of this hang-up as anybody here. It is a human conditioning. So, as we sometimes say, all these lectures are a loud thinking. At the most, I may have read a little more and I am somewhat continuously in touch with these matters. Otherwise, your mind, my mind are all one mind. That is the human mind. So this human mind of all of you as well as mine is generally caught in the sense of everything is an effect, everything should have a cause. Therefore, the moment avidya is mentioned, number one, how did avidya create all this? Number two, how did avidya get into the scene? And here, Sri Shankara presents a very nice, very thought-provoking, very stimulating, and you may call it these days out-of-box approach. You may call it an example of lateral thinking, or you may just say, this is very insightful. This appears once more in Bhagavad Gita. Yesterday I had shared with you the statement which I said is a very important statement that has a bearing with a whole lot of Ādi Shankara's interpretations elsewhere. That was adhyaropa apavadabhyam nishprapancham prapanchate. What is next to impossible to convey, nishprapancham, is all the same conveyed, prapanchate, by using a unique method in the Vedantas, and that method is deliberate superimposition. You remember I talked of scaffolding and then taking it away. Deliberate superimposition, adhyaropa, and necessarily don't leave it there, apavada, negate, subsequent negation. You cannot negate first and then do adhyaropa. You have to do adhyaropa first and then only negate. Therefore, that was our reference. That is part of the commentary by Shankara on 13.13, chapter 13, verse 13. But today I will pick up a little from his commentary on the same chapter 13, but the verse number 2. As many of you know, more than half here are somewhat familiar or quite familiar with Gita. Chapter 13, called Kshetra Kshetrajna Vibhaga Yoga, begins with Lord Krishna making a very wonderful statement with the multiple levels of meaning. Idam shariram kaunteya kshetramiti abhidhiyate. In some versions there is a additional shloka by Arjuna there, asking some questions. We are not taking that version into consideration. If you have some books where the chapter 13 begins with Arjuna asking, "Oh Lord, tell me, what is Kshetra, what is Kshetrajna?" More or less it is like looking at answer paper, you create the question paper. There is a question, there is a shloka like that. If you take that into consideration, the number of shlokas in the Gita will shoot up to 701. So, let me call it, as you have in software, version 700. That means the version where the shlokas add up to 700. A friend of mine, he has not come here, maybe he'll come in a little while, has given me another version of Gita with some 1,000 shlokas or so. And he is very fond of that, and he is behind me for last 3 years. Please translate those other 300. I want to have them. I have done a little. Actually, most of them are shlokas from various Upanishads and other works, They have been added. Anyway, in version 700, meaning not the 700th version, but the version having 700 shlokas, this is the first shloka. Idam shariram, this body, O son of Kunti, may be called the field, kshetra. And one who knows this field, etad yo vetti tam prahuhu, they call him or they call her kshetrajna, the knower of the field. The entire chapter is called the topic yoga, the topic yoga of kshetra kshetrajna vibhaga. Kshetra kshetrajna vibhaga yogo nama trayodashodhyayaha, that's how they say. There is the field, then there is the knower of the field. First shloka just defines the field. This body is the field. I said this shloka has levels of meaning. Mainly 2 levels. One is this, for all of us have a body. We have a gross body, we have a subtle body too. The causal body is a debated issue. I will not go into it. We have a gross body, we have a subtle body. Mind and thoughts and feelings, emotions, visualizations, fancies, mind created, all that is subtle body. Even energies, pranamaya, all that. Gross body is the utterly physical layer of our being. So take both of them, or take just the physical body, take that as the meaning of sharira. Idam shariram kshetram. And second meaning of the word sharira is, Sanskrit, every word is explained going by etymology. Etymology is a science or a subject where a word is understood by knowing how that word has come, what verbal root, what suffix, what prefix, what preposition, what kind of processing has been done to the root before this formation came. Everywhere, in other languages also, we have that. In Sanskrit, a lot. Almost every word can be traced to some verbal root. There are some 2000 verbal roots, dhatus they are called. Almost everything, even names of people. You say Rama, Ramante asmin sarve iti Rama. Everybody delights in him. He is called Rama. Krishna, not one, multiple meanings, but to just give one, akarshati, he attracts everybody, therefore Krishna. So everywhere. So sharira has an etymological meaning. Shiryate iti shariram. Shiryate means that which decays. The body of you and me, whether we like it or not, first of course grows and then starts decaying. If anybody, I don't think anybody doubts it here, but if anybody were to doubt, please go on the internet and see the pictures of heroes and heroines of 1960s and 70s. By and large, this generation, including the speaker, were very charmed by them at one time. Many of us must have. When I was in college, at least not all, once or twice I might have put somebody's picture on the wall. As a rebel, rebelling against parents' guidance, who asked us to put Ganesha, Saraswati, etc., we had put Manoj Kumar or this Kumar or this Asha Parekh or somebody, And we didn't do, there was no shloka available. But look at all their pictures now, they are available. Then you would say, Sri Krishna is right. Idam shariram kaunteya. this body decays. Whatever decays is Sharira. So this phenomenal world is constantly changing. Therefore, the two levels boil down to just this. Just the physical body of any of us, and behind it there is a knower, not only the mind, but that which knows thoughts also, that which knows emotions. Deep inside there is a knower, the knowing principle in us, and in a manner of saying, God knows what its nature is. It is incomprehensible. Etad yo vetti tam prahuhu kshetrajna, knower of the field. And on another level, the entire universe is Sharira, because it is decaying. Today's physics also says the galaxies are also changing. There are so many theories. Some of you may know better. Some say the whole universe is expanding. Then some believe it is shrinking. Many things are happening. But one point is clear. One thing is clear. It's not staying the same. It is changing. And not just radium or all those radioactive substances. Even any atom is decaying. Only thing, these usual regular atoms decay so slowly, therefore it seems they are okay. But radium, etc., just put it. That's how I think. Who was that lady who found that? Or Madame Curie, or the other guy who found X-ray. Rontgen, somebody was there, right? Rontgen. All those people, they discovered, hey, something is happening here. How come there are some marks, some impressions? They found that some atoms by nature, they can't keep quiet. They just keep disintegrating. So in atomic level, as well as in cosmic level, continuously, it is all Sharira. So the shloka boils down to, there is the field of the known which is constantly changing. Then there is some principle which is knowing, and every one of us think of it, yes. And in our individual context, I am the knower. The pure consciousness that I am the knower. Now comes the bombshell. The second shloka is a kind of a bombshell. Sri Krishna could have said, in every body there is a knower, and there are a number of individual knowers, and I, Mahavishnu, Sri Krishna, I am a knower of an entirely different caliber. I am a cut above all. I am separate. You guys are knowers in one sense, and I am a knower, and don't you compare each other. He could have said that. But therefore, in the first class itself, I said, if anybody is a little disturbed about why there are 3 schools, 7 schools, 10 schools, blame it on Krishna only. And for one more reason, he can take it also, because he loves fun. The Shiva and all we might get sore, get angry with you. But Krishna will take it. He says, I am game for it. Come on. So Krishna himself, Bhagavan Lord Sri Krishna says in the second shloka, Kshetrajnam mam vidhi. I am the knower. Sarva kshetreshu. So one interpretation, I am not saying this is the only interpretation, but the interpretation that Shankara goes for, and it goes well with his entire system, ADVAITA VEDANTA, is, look here, the Lord in no uncertain terms has said it here that the Lord himself is the knower, sarva kshetreshu. If each body can be looked at as a kshetra, then there is the mahakshetra. But even in the individual kshetra, the knowing principle, which a moment ago you thought is yourself, Lord Krishna says, it is me. Kshetrajnam mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata. And then, as Gita does at many places, in the form of a praise, as well as showing the tremendous significance of this statement, he himself says, Kshetra kshetrajnayoho yajnanam tadjnanam matam mama. There are so many forms of knowledge, so many things are labeled, that is good knowledge, he has knowledge, she has knowledge. Or in today's world, a very knowledgeable person in geography, she is very knowledgeable. French, she is so knowledgeable. Music, etc. So, million things are called knowledge in this world. But Sri Krishna says, the knowledge where there is clarity about what is Kshetra, what is Kshetrajna, that alone is knowledge. All else doesn't deserve to be called knowledge, in a manner of saying. Kshetra kshetrajnayoho jnanam yat tat jnanam. Tat eva is implied. Tadeva jnanam. It is a tribute. Literally he doesn't dismiss other forms of knowledge. Everything is knowledge, of course. But this is a compliment. This is a glowing compliment he gives to this wisdom where one is very clear about Kshetra and Kshetrajna. So, let me come to the most important aspect here. When it is said that God himself is the knower in every one of us, there is an indication here that the consciousness in us, which is subtler than even mind and intellect. We have the body and the senses, and behind the senses there is the mind and there is the intellect. Mind many times is various thoughts, emotions and so on. Intellect is especially, it goes a step further than the mind, comes to certain opinion, valuation. Though sometimes those valuations are wrong, that is a different matter, but it does that. Just as you say, oh, he's a doctor, he's a physician. The moment somebody is a physician, you value. Now later on you may find that several of his diagnoses were wrong. Then we say that's unfortunate. But the very fact that this person is a physician, that person is a civil engineer, this person is a biologist. So in matters concerned with those areas, you will call. Like in a house you want to remove a pole, pillar, you will call a civil engineer. Can this be removed? Is it a load-bearing pillar or it is just a decorative pillar? I talked about the buddhi, how buddhi is different from the mind. The buddhi can take an opinion, can make an opinion. There I said, the specialists, can make opinions. And the very fact that that person is able to give an opinion initially makes you regard him. Yeah, he said this is not load-bearing, it can be removed. She said this is nothing, there is no viral attack here, no bacteria also, you don't need to take antibiotics. Particular doctor said, you value it. So I was distinguishing buddhi from manaha. So when a physician tells you, you don't need to take antibiotics, there are no bacteria here. If a civil engineer tells you, oh, remove this pole, it is not supporting the roof, you respect it. That is buddhi in operation. A mind, this division of mana and buddhi has this criterion. Mind is various emotions, various appreciation of beauty and so on. Alright. The point is, I want to make a bit clear what is meant by consciousness. Consciousness in every one of us, we sometimes put an adjective. Pure consciousness is beneath and behind even the buddhi. Indriya, mana, buddhi and subtler, more pervasive and more powerful is this pure consciousness. And Lord Krishna said, I am that. He didn't even say, that is mine. I am that. Kshetrajnam mam viddhi. So this is one of there are not many shlokas in Gita which are as explicit, as this one is, sort of supporting Advaita. Nothing is 100% explicit. Especially, when it is all poetic. Poetry means everywhere interpretation is possible. Our rishis somehow, one way you are happy, such exquisite poetry this is, and you delight. Another day you say, being poetry, it has the flip side. It has many, interpretations possible. In fact, one of the counterpoints for Advaita in some schools of thought is when Uddhalaka says Tattvamasi, it is to be taken as a morale booster. That's about it. Don't take it literally. Tattvamasi means you are that. And take it as the father saying to the son, though the literally taken, you are that Brahman, you are the underlying principle behind this whole universe. That is the context in Chandogya Upanishad. But don't take it literally, say the other camps, other schools. Take it as a morale booster, just as a principal walking through the corridors of a college may meet some students, and he pats them, and then in a certain context, he says, look boys, look girls, this college is yours. It's all yours. You make this college. And he pats them again, and they feel very good. We come and go. But the students, it's everything belongs to the student. Without you, there is no college. He makes some drama, and they feel very good. So that language is possible. So here too, someone may say, when Lord Krishna says, Kshetrajnam chapi mam viddhi, I am this knower, probably what he means is, in every jiva, I empower that jiva. I make possible that jiva to know things. Without my grace, without my blessings, without my kripa, nobody would be able to know anything. It could be that too. Yesterday I got a WhatsApp message, Vedantic. There is a famous statement, Neti Neti iti Atma Brahadaranyaka, comes 3 or 4 times. And Advaita Vedanta is all the time quoting it. It has become so popular. And I had never actually come across possible interpretations from other schools of thought. So this came from some other school. And beautifully with a nice Sri Krishna's picture and so on. Neti Neti sa Atma na grihyate. That is the mantra. Mantra is perfect. Then there is a meaning given. Neti Neti, many of you know, is, according to Advaita Vedanta, complete negation. You can never come to know the truth. The only way you can come upon knowledge of Brahman is completely dismiss. Na iti. All that you are clinging to. All that you are presently hanging on to. You are hanging on to the finite with regard to your knowledge of who you are, with regard to everything. There are finite ideas and you are holding on to them. Dismiss them. Na iti. It is said twice because dismiss the gross, stula, dismiss the subtle, sukshma. Therefore, na iti. That's what Yajnavalkya says to King Janaka. Maybe another place to somebody else. It comes 3 or 4 times in different chapters of Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. But this WhatsApp message opened my eyes to a possible interpretation from the Dvaita school. Though I don't want to go into that, nor do I know much about the other schools. But here and there, just for a better understanding of how the same text can be seen in different ways, I think it is a good idea to share such things. It says, na iti atma na grahyaha na grahyate. That mantra is interpreted that his greatness of Mahavishnu is such that no idea that your limited intellect can do justice to it. Therefore, your limited ideas have to be dropped. Even with the maximum, you may be a genius, walking on the earth in the eyes of other humanity. Others may say, here comes so and so, this lady, God, she is a supercomputer. This man, he is a walking encyclopedia, they may say. But that paragraph says, however great intellectually you may be, the human mind that you have can never go anywhere near the majesty of Mahavishnu. Therefore, drop it. And please know, na grahyate. He can never be grasped. It is taken in the devotional language as his total majesty can never be grasped. What you can grasp is only a bit. Very sweet really. Not only the members of Dvaita or Vishishtadvaita, all of us in the Advaita also, we are also devotees. And in that, with the devotees hat on, as they say, we love this interpretation. Oh yeah. Not just applicable to Vishnu. If you are a Devi Bhakta, you could say this, be sitting before Devi. Oh Mother, no matter what I can try to imagine, it falls short of your glory. So the best thing for me is to na iti. A while ago I thought of you in a certain way. I thought I did justice to you. But my puny mind can never do justice to your glory, O my Divine Mother. Na iti. I drop this. Na grahyate. You cannot be grasped, and so on. So, coming back to Shankara's interpretation of the pure knower, he takes it literally. He takes it this. Sri Krishna said it, take it literally. But then how is it possible? How can God, the supreme ruler of this manifest universe, God is the ruler. God decides the fate of individual souls. Even Ramana Maharshi, an Advaitic teacher, in the very first verse of Upadeshasara, says, Kartuhu Ajnaya Prapyate Phalam. The results of our actions come to us as ordained by, as ordered by the Creator. Ishvarasya Ajnaya Asmakam Karmanam Phalani Bhavanti. Karturajnaya Prapyate Phalam Karma Kim Param Karma Tajjadam. First shloka. So, there is this God. Advaita does not deny God. Time and again you must appreciate Advaita in this way. What is said by Vishishtadvaita or Advaita, pretty much, I have no authority to say everything, I don't know everything what they say, but pretty much those postulates are accepted, but then it is said there is more to it. This more to it is the bone of contention. There is more to it than what is so far said. So, though Shankara was 200 years before Sri Ramanuja or 400 years before Madhva, without reference to those particular acharyas, at his time too, there must have been some Vaishnavas, some Sri Vaishnavas, there must have been some, without calling themselves so formally, there must have been some with that inclination, with that mindset. At any point in time on the earth, there are atheists, for example. Thousands and thousands of saints and sages might have come of unbelievable eminence They came, they walked on the earth, then they died. Has it removed atheism from the face of the earth? Sometimes you feel it has increased. So, there have been always mindsets, the mindsets of different schools of thought. But how can this oneness be? That is where you may feel that we have already taken much time. What about this clarification on avidya? Sorry, I sometimes get a bit slow, but we will dig into it more and more, but I will give a few aspects of it. This particular commentary, I think this will need one more class really, but we will see briefly what he says in this, which commentary which I said is very stimulating, very witty. I called it lateral thinking, out-of-box thinking and all those things. So, the question is this. So, if there is only one, and in that right perception, samyak darshana, these divisions, God the ruler, the world that is ruled, the individuals which are ruled, who are ruled, etc., etc. This entire scenario where there are divisions, where there are gradations, to use a Sanskrit word, where there is taratamya. Taratamya is a technical word, means gradation. Taratama are comparative and superlative degrees. If something is black, that is called Krishna. Then you see another fabric, let's say it's a cloth, it is more dark black, Krishna Tara. Then you take, in the same shop, you pick up another piece, which is what you call jet black, or then you say Krishna Tama, Tara and Tama. So the noun form of it is Taratamya. This entire creation of such gradation, apparently, when we have samyak darshana, reduces to a certain perception, which is right perception, where there is no gradation, no taratamya, and it is one without a second. Therefore, the good old question, how did the one with no differentiation, if you say not become, if you want to say appear, okay, how did it come to appear? Even the appearance we want to ask, how did it happen? So we say because of avidya. Okay, without delaying further, I enter this portion now. A purva pakshi. The traditional style of writing commentaries has always been, the commentator presents his view. His view is called Siddhanta. So, Shankara presents his Advaita Siddhanta. And during his travels, during his discussions, he obviously had become aware of common questions. Today you call it FAQ. Frequently asked questions. Now the traditional way of bringing those FAQ has been, you create an imaginary opponent. We call that imaginary opponent Purva Pakshi. His side or her side is Purva Paksha. Purva is not east here, nor is Purva something of a previous time, Purvajalu. Purvaja, our ancestors. Neither previous nor the direction east, but here Purva means the opponent. So there is an imagined opponent here, and he serves the purpose of showing possible objections. And this objection all of us have. The objection is Sa avidya kasya. Here is the undivided whole, undifferentiated whole. That alone is the truth, you say, without getting tired. But then you say avidya came up and it became divided. Who got avidya? That Brahman got suddenly a like virus attack, avidya attack. Kasya avidya. Kasya means literally whose is this avidya. In English language you can put it as who has this avidya. Those of you who know Sanskrit, or for that matter pretty much in all Indian languages, there is no proper word for the English word have. Suppose you say Ramesh has a house. In Hindi, for example, you can't say Ramesh ek ghar ko. You rather put Ramesh in sixth case. Ramesh ka ek ghar hai. I won't go more into language. This kasya, whose, is sixth case in grammar. Kasya avidya. Or I want to say, I have a wonderful book with me. So I put it as mama ekam adbhutam pustakam asti. Mama, it goes to mama, which is like Mary, mine. So kasya avidya. Anyway, leave language aside. Who has this avidya? Whom does avidya catch? And the Siddhanti says, this is a witty answer. He says, Yasya drishyate tasya eva. Whoever is in the grip of it, whoever is seeing this differentiated world, that person has avidya. Shankara very carefully and very correctly, because to say, what else? Brahman only. One morning, it was a very cloudy morning, and Brahman got hit by avidya. That will be maha anachara. What you call apachara, that is the word. That would be a terrible apachara. Apachara means injustice. Injustice to the Siddhanta. Because Brahman is one without a second. There is nothing second, nothing other than it. So to even propose that avidya came floating or something and hit Brahman, did something exist other than Brahma? The postulate to start with is there is literally, absolutely nothing. But then how did this illusion take place? Who got it? Whoever is seeing this illusion has got it. So the Purvapakshi won't leave so easily. The imagined opponent says, you tell me who is seeing this divided world? Who has this ignorance? Whoever is seeing this divided world, pluralistic world, has it. Who is seeing this pluralistic world? Then Shankara, as the Siddhanti says, to ask who is seeing this divided world is nirarthakaha prashnaha. This is a meaningless question. The opponent says, why is it meaningless? Katham? Then Shankara says, the Siddhanti, both are Shankara only, imagined opponent and the imagined proponent, imagined champion or the representative of the main school. So the main school answers this saying, Sanskrit first, Drashyate chet avidya tadvantam api pashyasi. Let me read the English for you. If ignorance is perceived by you, if you say that I am seeing all this, then you also see whoever has it. You are self-conscious. It's your problem and you are conscious of you who has the problem. That is well said. But then the objection is, normally when you have ignorance, you should be able to see it. Yes, here is my ignorance. To that, there's a very nice logical, question answer here, questions and answers. If we think, all right, if I have ignorance, I should be able to see it, then the eye that is seeing, whoever is seeing that ignorance, will have to be examined. Is that part of the illusion created by ignorance or a part? The Siddhanta's position is, The moment there is erroneous perception, the one who is seeing is part of that error. If it is literally like rope and snake, the rope I was watching and suddenly something happened and there appeared a snake, there could be a third factor. But here, you are yourself part of this whole scenario. So the primary question answer here is, I will elaborate a little and pause for today. The primary one is that first question and the first answer. Who has avidya? We don't say Brahman has avidya, that is not tenable, that is not valid logically. Nor can we say, Brahman can never have avidya. It is the jiva who has avidya. Where did jiva come from? There was no jiva at all, right? So the one without a second appears as one having endless divisions, endless taratamya, endless plurality. But in this scenario, once more I highlight, the first question and answer went. When you say who has ignorance, it is that very entity that is asking that has ignorance. In a passing manner, I don't want to go much into Ramana here, but in a passing manner, Ramana's urging everyone, ask yourself who you are. Please see, goes so well with this pointer by Ādi Shankara. The one who is wondering how this happened, what has happened, why am I miserable, what is my relation, any question. The questioner needs to be questioned. Some of you may be aware, when people asked some doubts to Maharshi Ramana once, he teased them. Doubt the doubter, he said. There is a doubt about some matter, but he said, doubt the doubter. So this, I would put it this way. There is a psychological construction here. The ego is nothing but a psychological construction. This psychological construction called the separate knower, the individualized knower, the divided knower, not that knowing principle which is the adhisthana for everything. This separate knower is already part of this appearance. A pencil looks bent in water. It has not really got bent, but there is an appearance. Likewise, there is no real change either in the world, that is, Brahman has not become the world, what I mean, nor have you become the jiva. Vivartavada includes not only the scenario in the totality, the Vivartavada, the theory of appearance, also includes what has happened to you. You have really not become the jiva. Brahman has not become this world. But Brahman seemingly as the world and you seemingly appearing as the individual are an error in perception. Contemplate on the Upanishadic revelations, or going by Maharshi Ramana's language, with an unbiased mind, calming your mind, question when you are depressed, who is depressed? I am depressed. Who am I? Question this I, which is part of the erroneous perception, it subsides. Then the realization, we call it realization, is an intuitive grasp of the ever-changeless truth. Thus, who has avidya? The one who is asking brings us back to questioning the appearance. There is no karya-karana bhava really. If it were to be answered in some other way, who has ignorance? You know, that's a long story, come sit down. There is, though we said Brahman alone is, actually just behind Brahman there was one Like that you propose something, then it leads to endless complications. And those complications do not exist in the Advaita system. If somebody had not studied the Advaita properly, then on their part they would imagine, and then they would find everything is falling apart, everything is contradictory. When you appreciate this, that actually nothing has appeared, then you find that there is no logical error. One last point, you may say, but this whole business that everything is a mere appearance is so clumsy. This whole thing is an appearance? I would say, I have thought a lot about this. I would say it will look clumsy to you when you put a label that any appearance is not good. If you put a negative label to appearance, then it's clumsy. But we would say an appearance also can be grand. An appearance also can have great beauty. If you appreciate this universe as very beautiful and taking it as real, I would say you can appreciate this whole creation as very beautiful, knowing it to be an appearance also. It being an appearance is not not a problem in appreciating it as beauty. In our life also there are lots of things, a movie. The whole movie is not real, but we enjoy it. A great movie we say and we come out. Some other times actually certain things happen and we say, wow. So we can go into it also more. Let me pause here. But this needs a little more examination and it's so crucial to the whole system. Therefore also, not because I didn't cover some portion, etc., but the matter is so crucial. We will go into it more, but now some time for questions and answers. Om.